Eurovision fam. Hey, Eurovision fam. Hey, Eurovision fam. Hey, Eurovision fam. I'm a little bit late because basically Ireland was sort of, I guess, late on their rehearsal. I was waiting for that, and I was hoping that we would get maybe a third run of the first rehearsal for Ireland. I don't know if that's going to happen. So if that happens, I will be probably plugging my earphones in because I don't want to get in trouble for even the sound streaming out. But I guess there are people who are just sat in the press room going live while a performance is going on. So maybe it won't be that bad. But I'm not trying to get in trouble, okay? Hey, Eurovision fam, this is my recap of day one rehearsals. Oh my goodness. I have to say, when I woke up this morning at 3:15 before my alarm, because I was so hyped for today, I think even after Lithuania's rehearsal, I was in a haze. It didn't feel like it was really happening. I don't think it felt like, oh no, we're really Eurovision is happening. I don't think I had that truly go off. And yes, I'm going to go in order. Hey folks, hi from Chicago. Hey folks from Israel. Yeah, I am going to go in order. So I'm going to talk about everyone. I've got my notes out. But I think, yeah, when Lithuania started, I was still sort of in a haze of is this happening? Is this happening? And then it was no, it's happening. Okay. We are doing this. Eurovision 2021 is happening, and we are going to have a winner. We kicked off the day with Lithuania. And I said this in my short video, but Lithuania is really, they didn't necessarily need to rehearse. They just confirmed what we already know, that this song is going to be in the final. This song is really the perfect song to kick off this Eurovision season, reminding us that it's okay to dance alone. I think that really all they did was elevate from what they already did at the national selection. They really did just elevate, in my opinion. And they did some cool tricks without doing too much. I love how they have these boxes where you see the band isolated, and the pop of yellow is so great that we're still seeing that. Let me hop into the comments real quick. Hello from Ireland. Hi from the UK, Australia. Shouldn't you be in bed? Colin from Germany. Hi from Portugal. Hi from Lithuania. Yeah. So Jao says Lithuania looks so small on that huge stage. I love it though. Honestly, they really don't. And I think if you think about the song, what they're actually saying, it's okay to kind of dance alone. I think the empty space when you see it for their performance actually works. And I think it also works too because they really are standing out. It's not like they're in the middle of the stage and then they have tons of LEDs going off. Really, when they're alone on the stage, you just see sort of them and these formations. And I think it actually works for them. But I will say, when I watched it go up, and this was our first rehearsal of the day, I was like, oh, it would kind of be nice to see a crowd. It would sort of be nice to see this full arena. So yeah, so that was how I felt about Lithuania. Really good, really clean. They didn't do anything to mess anything up. They're definitely qualifying. There's no question. They just confirmed that they really know what they're doing. And I will say there was a slickness, a confidence, and polish to their performance. Some of the folks are getting on the stage after not really doing a lot of live performances. They were so comfortable. I think them having the national selection behind them too really just helped them to get on stage and just do what they do. It was so good. Harry View says it seemed a bit dark at points. I think there were some lights missing, but I don't really think that it was that bad. Yeah. Okay, let's move on to Slovenia. Slovenia was next. She had the same outfit on, and they added some glitter belts. The thing is, I'm going to be real with y'all. I actually was kind of expecting Slovenia maybe to pull some thoughtful, tasteful staging. And I don't know, Anna seemed a bit uncomfortable in the outfit and even in the shoes, even when she was standing in the heels. And maybe they need to pick a thicker heel because I think she is in stilettos. And if she has a chunkier heel, that'll help her a little bit. But I have to be fair. Y'all know I have to give out the critiques. And y'all come to me because I keep it real, okay? I keep it real, and I think I keep it fair and keep it real. She has had that outfit and those shoes for a month. And if you are not comfortable in that outfit and those shoes, when you've had them for a month, honestly, boo-boo, you had at least 30 days to just be living in those shoes and that outfit to get as comfortable as you can to walk. But I will also say this. They have her, there's a moment where then she's like walking on the catwalk. And I don't necessarily think that this song needs that, because there's this moment where she goes like, okay, sing it along with me. The arena is not that full and those people don't know the words to the song. So we don't need that moment. And I found it to be slightly distracting. Let me hop in the comments real quick. Harry Davis, I was expecting Lucy Jones type of staging for Slovenia. Yeah, me too, low key. I actually thought that the staging, they might do something, but it was something about it that just, I don't want to say it didn't work. It was fine, but I thought that they were going to do more. And with Slovenia, with North Macedonia not being that far away from Slovenia, I do think North Macedonia's staging is better than Slovenia's as it stands right now. Diego says, Slovenia did nothing for me. The song is boring and the performance is bland and slow. The staging doesn't fit. I wouldn't even say that the staging doesn't fit, but really they could have just done what they did in the music video. I think that would have been more impactful than what they're doing right now. And there was a moment where she took the shoes off. And I'm going to say this. I said this in my short review, and I'm going to say it now. If you're going to take your shoes off, pull a Patti LaBelle and make it a moment. Because as of now, the performance kind of needs a moment, and we don't have it. I love the choral element, how they're amplifying that. But if you're going to take us to church, take us to church. Girl, kick them shoes off. Kick the shoes off. Throw your hands up and be like, come on. Oh, no. You know, take us to church. And I didn't really feel, it was a very restrained taking me to church. And if I'm going to church, I don't want to be restrained. I want us to be shouting out and praising and just, you know, breaking it down on the stage. Girl, kick them shoes off. No one's in the audience. You won't hit anybody. Just kick the shoes off and sing out, girl. I so wanted that moment. And we're not really getting it. It still feels very restrained. I'm sorry. Whew. Okay. Slovenia needs tighter camera angles in the beginning of it. The song is very intimate, and I feel that we lose that intimacy that the song has. The song has such great intimacy. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I do think Slovenia is still likely to not qualify with this staging. Let's move along to Russia. I loved Russia before. I love it now. I love it even more. This song is going to qualify. It's going to qualify. I love how she looks like a nesting doll. I love how it's like in the beginning, she's restrained in this sort of nesting doll dress, and then she busts out of it and is free. I will say, I wish that she had a different outfit, you know, from the national selection. And I'm like a nerd like that, where I'm just like, no, just give us something different, you know, like just give us something different. I like the look, but like maybe it could have been in blue, maybe it could have been in white, just to like sort of differentiate what was at the national selection to now, because they really did stay true to that national selection performance. Let me hop into the comments. Vane says Anna and Basil had the best performance today. Were you in the press room? Did you watch the whole run-throughs? Because you sound real confident. And I don't know if you saw the whole performances, Vane. Joel, Russia, my favorite today. Such fire and powerful. Harry says, Russia blew me away. Their staging was amazing. They're a dark horse. I mean, is the horse really that dark for Russia? I mean, it's Russia. This is honestly one of Russia's best offerings. I said this in my short review, one of their best offerings. And with that said, I think that they could have put a little bit more budget behind it. In my mind, I don't know how much budget they put behind it, but low-key, I was almost I don't even think it's an animatronic dress. The dress could have been animatronic. I think they just got wheels on it and then she's controlling it. We could have given our girl more budget. I'm just saying. But apparently there is going to be pyro. I love the Zoom background where she is singing, and it is the chorus of Russian women, young and old, in the Zoom background that they are singing out to at that moment. I love this song. Oh my goodness, her charisma, she is great. You know, one thing, if I gave like a note, I do wonder, they do have this moment where they have sort of the these these words go across, these sort of encouraging statements go across the LEDs. I almost wish the LEDs were actually projecting some of the Russian lyrics, because the lyrical content for this song is so, so, so good. Ashton says, I don't see a universe in which Manesia doesn't qualify, to be honest. Honestly, I don't. Luca says, Alesia, what do you expect from Norway? I expect Norway to do the same thing that they did at the national selection. That's actually what I mean, because Norway typically does. They might mix it up a little bit, but I expect them to hold true to what they did in the national selection. But honestly, Kaino really switched up a lot from the national selection. So maybe Tix will drop the wings and the chains, which I think he should. So we'll see. Zevmon1 says, most of the people will see it the first time in the semifinal. Joel says, is it true a drag queen appears in the LEDs on Russia? I don't know. Because honestly, I was so captivated by what Manesia was serving on the stage. I wasn't even really looking at anybody else. And that's so good when you have things happening around a performer where it doesn't pull focus from the performer. So smart, so good. But it's also a testament to how talented Manesia is. Toonie B says Sweden did have a message, Black Lives Matter. Okay. Tusay was asked at Melfest what the message of the song is. And he literally said that it wasn't a political message. If the message was Black Lives Matter, then why are we just hearing that now? If that truly was, you know, the ethos and background of the song. You know what I'm saying? You know, why is it coming up now? That's all. So let's talk about Sweden. Yeah, so we had Russia and then we had Sweden. Okay, Sweden, they're still in a red outfit, but they've upgraded it, made it truly a showpiece. I like the new styling. I did see some folks in the press were kind of like, no, I like the suit, but I'm like, a suit is so boring. This is the Eurovision Song Contest. We are on the stage. I want to see a stage showpiece. And Tusay is giving us that. He's given us a look on the stage, and not a ton of male performers do that. We've been getting the t-shirt and the slacks, and I'm just over the t-shirt and the slacks. Sergio says, I don't like the sleeves at all. Well, there are no sleeves. He just has like little things pulled up. I think it looks great. I think it's a stage piece. I think people at home will appreciate it. We've been locked in the house. Let people get jazzy on stage. If somebody gets on stage after this year where we've been wearing sweats and they hop on stage with like a t-shirt and some slacks, like honestly, I'm really not going to be here for it. Like, this is your time to be outside. Give us a look. I mean, look, y'all, I'm about to go to brunch today later, and I'm about to look dumb fancy for brunch just because I can. I'm out the house. All right. I'm about to look like I'm out the house. Okay. What do I have? Esco, Ireland opinion. I'm going to go in order. So, Andrea says, Alesia, what do you think of the stage this year? I quite like how simplistic it is. I actually really like the stage. I think the stage is working. I'm so far with the performances I've seen. I do wonder, I'm seeing a gold element in a lot of them. So yeah, so let's move on to Australia. So I'm gonna talk about Australia because y'all know I love Technicolor. I love Technicolor. In my mind, I was thinking Technicolor was gonna qualify even when folks were not thinking it was gonna qualify. Hold on, I will answer this question. What did you think of Tusay's voice? Is it good? You should watch. I do have a video where I just talk about Sweden. The vocal was shaky. It was definitely pitchy. And there were moments where he was straining. But I had some notes in my video. So I really hope that they take those notes. And I don't think that the vocal will impede this song from qualifying. And I think the song's so catchy. People at home will sing along to it. I do think people at home will latch on and grasp Sweden's song. This is not the year where Sweden is not qualifying, even though I will say, coming after Russia, and then even whatever Australia decides to serve, I don't think the running order is helping Sweden this year. And it's so early on in the show, and that second half is so stacked. So I don't know what the televote for Sweden will be, really just because of the running order. This semifinal is really stacked though. Let's talk about Australia. I was already nervous about Australia. And once we found out that Australia would not be in Rotterdam, I was nervous. Because I was like, no, y'all really needed to be there. And not only did they need to be there, I really think for this first rehearsal, we needed to see more than what was just on the Eurovision channel. So us as press, we saw what everybody in general public saw, which was just that 1 minute clip of like a background video with her in black. Now I'll tell you, I like the clothes. It looked like there were dancers. We heard her sing the beginning of the song. The vocal was fine. But Australia really needed the press today to help them build a little bit of momentum, because they're not in the Netherlands, and there's literally nothing I can say about it that I haven't already said. And that's a problem. That's a problem. Diego, I love Australia. The live on tape seems amazing. The dark fits to it, and Montaigne seems really comfortable singing it. I think it will qualify. I don't know. ESC Ariel says, I love Montaigne, but everything is working against her this year. Juries aren't going to save her when she's in a different time zone. I think it's just, you know, we needed a rehearsal. I think we really needed this, so then there could build up a little bit more buzz and momentum. That 1 minute clip is just not going to do it. It's just not going to do it. And y'all know I love this song. I'm gonna get in my car and I'm gonna be singing Technicolor in about 30 minutes, you know? I love it. And I really wanted to see it in the final, and I just don't know. Swedish B Panda says, I kind of like the staging of Australia. It's what I kind of expected, and I saw a sparkly jacket in the snippet, and they'll take their time. Well, yeah, she's definitely going to take the jacket off. And honestly, this is not the staging that I saw for Australia. I thought that they should have been making it like punchy, kick butt, like kind of almost like a comic book, like making her like a superhero. That was the staging that I saw for Australia. But yeah, there's just not a lot to say about it because we don't have anything. Let's move on to North Macedonia. Okay, beautiful start. Low key, I was expecting Slovenia to kind of give us that wow moment on stage. North Macedonia is giving us the wow moment on stage. I applaud Vasil for protecting his vocal and not singing. I'm going to say it again, not singing full voice. Vasil, the vocalist, protecting his voice. Other Eurovision performers, this is not your vocal rehearsal. This is not your vocal rehearsal. This is not your vocal rehearsal. It's not. It's really not. You do not need to go out there and strain your voice, you know, preserve it. It's totally fine. Vasil's voice is beautiful. I love what they're doing with the staging. It is a little bit like, whoa, what's going on here at the end of it? But I will say they start off very tasteful. It starts off intimate. I felt like I got to connect with Vasil in the song. I really, really got to connect with him. I will say at the end when it sort of busts out and we have the daughter reflective mirror, most people at home are not going to know that daughter did that. So it's totally fine. And I actually kind of like that moment because I'm sure Vasil knows about Bulletproof, and I'm sure he knows like that people might have that reference. So I didn't hate it. And here's the thing. I don't think that the song is going to qualify, but I think now where some people were saying that the song would be forgettable, I don't think it's going to be forgettable now. I think you're going to remember like, oh, remember that song where the guy like took off his jacket and then had like a disco ball on the stage? Like people are going to remember that. And I think that that's important. And I mean, and honestly, his voice is beautiful. Aurora says, Alesia, semifinal 1 is a bloodbath. I don't think that Slovenia and North Macedonia have many chances. You're correct. And then someone asked, do you know if Israel will perform? Israel is going tomorrow. That's the second half of semifinal 2. So rehearsals are over for today. And then Sergio says, even if Vasil won't qualify, I'm glad we're given quality. I completely agree. This is a quality song. Actually, there aren't a lot of like cheap songs in this semi. There might be like 2. But for the most part, we've got really good quality songs. And Vasil's song is quality. And I'm not a huge fan of like the musical theater moment on stage. Just because I don't know, it's so weird. I used to like do musical theater all the time, and now like when I hear a musical theater song, I'm kind of like, oh, okay. But I really do like it. Joel says Macedonia will not finish last, I guess. I don't think they will. Off of this run, I don't think that they will. And again, the beginning of the song did feel really tasteful to me. Like imagine Jamala's kind of LED styling on Basil. Like there's a moment where it's kind of like this glowing heart and it's like this glowing fire inside of you, which I thought was really beautiful. And the way that it kind of expands, it was, I mean, the staging was very, very tastefully done, very thoughtful. I liked it. Okay. What else do let's move on to Ireland. This is our last rehearsal for today. Ireland is doing a lot. They are being extremely ambitious. And I'm here for it because I want people taking risks. I don't want to see stuff I've seen before. But with that comes great responsibility because then you have to execute it. And we only got one run. I don't know if they got an additional run. Some people were saying like, no, for the rehearsals, they just give you a time frame. So maybe they only did it twice. And like this type of staging needs a couple of runs. So essentially what it looks like is, imagine like those on stage, like sketch artists, you know, there are moments where it's almost like it really is like a storybook. You see pages sort of turning. There's a moment where she's sort of like sliding down and she's like, hey, I see you all in there. And she's moving things like sort of out of the way. The staging is beautiful. If they pull it off, it's going to be great. But it's up to us to make sure that it's not an Iceland 2016 where it's like there's so much going on that maybe the performer gets lost in it. The vocal was not where it needed to be today. I do think she was holding back. And the crazy thing is, it's like, I feel like when she started off like, I'm going to hold back. And then she started like kind of trying to sing. And then she was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing this right now. Maybe I just need to be focusing like on getting comfortable on the stage. So I think there was a little bit of that. But also, I do think that the backing vocals need to help her out a little bit more. I said this before, Eleni Ferreira had a backing vocalist singing with her the whole time. And there's nothing wrong with that because even when you're in the music studio, you are, you'll dub your voice sometimes. Yeah, like you'll actually like dub your voice and you'll sing with yourself 2 times. And I do think this song kind of needs that to bring a little bit more of that fullness. So one of the backing vocalists honestly just needs to sing with her. And real talk, she's doing enough on stage where it's like, no, you deserve it because you're standing over here, you're going over there, you got to flip this thing, you got to flip this thing. I mean, this, I really, really, if they work it out, yeah, Ireland is going to qualify. If they work out that staging, they're going to qualify because the juries are not going to ignore this level of television production. They're not. And the song was already strong. Let me hop into the comments. Was her vocal bad? The vocal was not where it needed to be. I think she was holding back at one point and then she was like trying to go back in, you know, then she was like singing full voice. So I think it was a little bit like, I'm in, I'm out. ESC Ariel says, glad to see Ireland stepping it up for the staging. Absolutely. Joel says, I love the books and I love maps. Hope the best for Ireland this year. Me too. Nuna says, did you know Russia got an applause after in the press center? That's what I heard. Michael McR says, Ireland is notorious for weakening back vocalists. How? Ireland's sort of like a Malta country where like low-key everybody can sing. And, you know, if we need to send somebody, I can't send myself. I can't sing myself to sing behind her in the backstage. But I don't know what's going on with those backing vocalists, but we do need somebody to be singing with her. Like just sing with her. And I hate that. I will say this. The song really isn't that vocally challenging. And I'm not saying that as a negative per se. And with all that she is doing on stage, it's like, okay, it then becomes sort of a vocal challenge to do all that she's doing and still sustain the song. Zandi, do you miss Hungary from the competition? Low key, because Hungary was like really serving us quality. Hungary was definitely serving us quality. Zach says, can you explain to us what Ireland looked like? It really did look like kind of, it was almost like a moment where imagine like a marionette stage and then the person kind of comes behind. So there were like little moments where she was literally like this and being like, move that tree out of the way, move that tree out of the way, tick this up. And then moments where she's in the middle. And remember in the music video where she was like running down that like road and there were trees next to her, you literally see like storybook drawn illustrated trees at like, and the pages are flipping to show like the movement as she's like running. So it does sort of look like a storybook. And then she does have a moment at the end where she walks on the catwalk, which I think for this song works. Some songs, you know, that were utilizing the catwalk, I didn't think worked, but I do think for Ireland, it worked. Yeah, so Toonie B says, what do you think of Malta's chances for winning the whole thing? I think they're very high. Square Circle says, why is there no preview of the rehearsal on YouTube like other countries that have performed today? They just haven't edited yet. Like, give them some time to put it together. I mean, so who the standout of today was? I mean, Ireland was probably the biggest surprise. Ireland had the most ambitious staging today, hands down. The most ambitious staging. And honestly, thinking about what's coming tomorrow, I think Ireland's staging might still be the most ambitious staging. But Russia was definitely the standout today. Russia, I think, confirmed, for anyone who was doubting, Russia confirmed why they're a front runner, why Malaysia is most likely going to qualify. Yeah, so that's my recap of today's rehearsals. What do you think? Talk to me in the comments below. I know I'll be signing off now, but I will be sort of responding to the comments all throughout today. If you want to just isolate what I thought about each performance, I did record videos after each rehearsal, just titled, so you can kind of isolate those pieces. I didn't do one for Australia because we didn't get a first rehearsal. And I mean, I wonder how many other folks didn't really say anything about Australia because they didn't get a first rehearsal. And Australia needed that. They needed that hype. But I love Technicolor. Technicolor. Yeah, okay. So thank you so much for joining. I will be back up at the crack of dawn to hang out with y'all tomorrow. So thank y'all so much for watching. Day one is done. All right. Yeah. Bye.